Jim, roofers like to light money on fire thinking that they're branding, but they're really just lighting money on fire. So let's break down these mistakes that they're making. What's the first one?
Man, I think that one of the first things that people think about when they're thinking about brand is spending a ton of money on a website to make it look pretty. Like they're like, that's brand. It's like, well, yeah, kind of like when people find you, when people visit you and things like that. But I mean that sometimes there's spend up to 20, $30,000 on a website that looks really pretty, but does not have any impact
Yeah.
on anything.
I want to unpack that when you say it doesn't have any impact because y- g- go further. I've got my thoughts,
It's
but I want to hear
it's
yours.
strong, right? It's a strong statement, like, and there are, like, let's, to play devil's advocate here, a well-built website with good images and things like that, like, you will get, potentially a better conversion out of it if it's structured properly, and if the words say the right things
Yeah.
to the right person
Yeah.
who's visiting your website, right? So, it's not just the prettiness of the website that it's not just the people, holding their child in front of the house,
Hmm.
bright smiles on their face.
Yeah. Stock
That
images.
yeah, the stock images that look really nice, man. They look really fantastic, but it's not that's not brand, right? That's pretty. And yeah, that's it doesn't work without the right words on the page and without traffic to the page.
Hmm. I made that mistake. My very first business, I don't remember if I told you this, but it was I was a concealed carry instructor, and I came up with this brand, Concealed Carry Almanac, and I was like, oh man, I'm gonna have like the first kick butt website that you could find anything you needed about carry laws, state by state, holster pairing, all that stuff. And I spent, gosh, this was over a decade ago, like 16 grand or something on a custom website. And this was like I was, on the side when I was still in day-to-day roofing. And then like no one came to the website and it didn't do
Yeah.
anything. And I learned such a valuable lesson that like websites on their own don't convert. And that when I later was a direct response copywriter and consultant for one of the fastest growing financial technology companies, I was constantly in a battle with the designers because they're like, but this looks nice. I'm like, everything looks the same. The call to action is the same color as the branding. No one knows where to click. And I love what Joe Polish says. He goes, good marketing is some, I'm paraphrasing, but good marketing is often ugly. So yeah, I would totally agree. People spend way too much on a website. I think there's a lot of ego involved. Like it looks nice, but my big question is, does it convert? And if you're
Yep.
looking at your website and you have no traffic, like why do you need to spend 20 or 30 grand on a website if you have no traffic to go to the website to convert? And people are like, oh, it's a digital business card. Like kind of ish. So yeah, big one. What advice would you give for someone so they don't hemorrhage cash on a 20 to $30,000 website build?
I mean, there's plenty of ways to start out, right? Like a lot of the agencies like our Job Nimbus Marketing that used to be roofer marketers that, you get a website included with, right? Like there's a lot of agencies out there that get a website included with. If you're working with an agency, if you're just starting out on your own, and just, you just have to have something that's nice in today's age. My goodness, there's a lot of ways with AI to, build something quickly
Mhm.
that looks clean, it looks professional, but it's not that. Now, I'm not gonna say that there's never a time for that $20,000 website.
Of course.
There can be a time for that also. It's not in the startup phase.
Yeah. And it's all relative. I mean, when you and I were down in Texas for the RSRA marketing workshop, a 2-day workshop we had for our members, someone's like, oh, it's 5 grand. Should I do it? I'm like, 5 grand isn't 5 grand. If 5 grand is
Yeah,
part of your $50,000 per year budget, that's 10% of your budget. If $5,000 is uh, part of your 50,000 per month budget, because we had folks in the room spending that, that's a very different discussion. Spending $10,000 of 1 month versus $10,000 for, excuse me, not $10,000, 10% of 1 month versus 10% of your annual budget. So it all is relevant at scale. And there are folks that are tuning in who I know a $20,000 to $30,000 website, you're not going to feel that. Like you can write the check, be
no,
done. It's all good. And at that size, with traffic coming in, if the conversion increases because you have leverage by just a few percent, you make up for it in a hurry. So, all right.
Yeah. I think brand is something that, it's talked about, but it's what people think of you,
Mhm.
right? It's how people think of you. It's how many people think of you.
Yeah.
And that's the first thing you have to work on. So
What do you think is the second thing, most common thing that roofers light money on fire thinking they're branding?
I think that they go hard on branding, on trying to brand a non-memorable brand.
Mm, tell me more. What do you mean?
Unmemorable, non-memorable. Did I get that right? Probably not.
Close enough. We're not going to even edit that out. We're going to leave it in.
That's right. I took refresher English in college, Adam. I'm not good at these words things.
Mm.
Um, but this is part of it. And like, if you are the letters of your name roofing and you're trying to turn that into a brand, it's challenging, right? One of the best discussions around brand I had was from Dustin Beegler, who passed away many years ago with Apple Roofing, and we were talking about how they came up with the brand of Apple Roofing. And they said, well, they put something that everyone knew next to the word roofing. Apple.
With an A, so it's probably back in the
Yeah.
day, they had a phone
Yeah,
book.
could have, shown up high in the phone book. And
Yeah.
then they're in Lincoln, Nebraska. So what are the colors of Lincoln, Nebraska?
Red and white.
Red and white.
Yeah.
So they went bright green, right? So that they weren't so when their bright green truck was next to the red and white, the 5 red and white trucks, it stood out, right? And so a lot of times we're trying to brand things that are not really brandable in the short
Mhm.
term. And there's some good examples of people who have made brand changes, that, it's if you make a good brand change, if you go from that, your initials to a brand name, there's been some really good examples of that. One of them is Planet Roof out in Pittsburgh. Um, those guys had been in the area for years. I can't remember what the letters they were using for the roofing company. And then they made the change. They went in, years in business. They rebranded, they got the right colors, they got that stood out, they got the Planet Roof, right? It's simple, put a word next to roofing. And and all of a sudden, they were like, "We see you everywhere." People, it was magical. People saw them everywhere. And so, with that, having the right thing to build brand off of.
Mhm. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. We actually had one of our members, I know you saw this post in the, RSRA private app of a member that was going through the rebranding, and it was great because he was going down this direction and super confident, and our community rallied behind. Sometimes the best feedback you can get is not when people agree with you, and that's why I say in RSRA, we're value aligned, not like-minded,
Yeah.
because like-minded creates an echo chamber, and it's like, "Oh, it looks great," and people are like, "Don't do that." And, this member did a great job at taking that feedback, and then over the course of the next 20, 30 days, revamping, coming up with a beautiful brand name, new logos based on our new logo based on that. And everyone's like, this is it. Like helping him embody the essence of the feeling that he wished to
Yes.
create. As you mentioned, how people think about you. And the way I consider branding is how people feel about about you when they see you, work with you, or interact with you. So it's not just branding as like, look at the logo. Like, I've got the RSRA logo on the wall back here.
That's
That's
right.
not branding, right? It's like, how does someone feel when they're wearing that logo on their shirt, when they show up at the house, or when they use our pre-sale tool and the sales rep is showing up and standing behind as a proud member of RSRA to differentiate themselves. That's branding, versus just the visual. So
The
love that.
brand impression is what
Correct.
like, these logos on our everywhere, they're just brand impressions,
Mhm.
right? They don't create that feeling. I love what you say about that. My friend Nick Brandon with Hero Roofing down in Noonan, Georgia, like, he's in the community. They're doing events, they're meeting with local businesses and spotlighting them on their, like, in social media and things like that, and it's Like, it's a brand impression that's happening, but that's happening through that, but it's the feeling of, "Oh, these guys are part of our community. They
Mhm.
value what I value. This is
Yeah.
really cool."
Yeah. We had a member, Taylor Spears, who I'll actually put a link to that video at the end of this,
Yeah.
who, is doing an incredible job branding. He spends 3% of his budget on marketing. Excuse me, 3% of his gross revenue, not budget. 3% of his gross revenue on marketing, and he's a retail company, and he's killing it. And they're doing a lot of community involvement work, and I'll spare that. You can jump into the video here at the end. So, Jim, what's another, big mistake that you see roofers making when it comes to branding, but they're really just lighting money on fire?
The I think that they don't understand the timeline for marketing. So I believe that there's a short term, midterm, and long term marketing. And
Mhm.
so short term is I need a job today. Direct sales is where that overlaps, right? That's the boots and knuckles, get out there, knock doors. Short term marketing, right, is direct sales or going to events in your community, being present in your community, relationship building, all of that. That can be all short term marketing. Then you have your midterm marketing stuff, which is things like Facebook ads and Google ads and things like that, where you know that there's a response out there. There's an audience out there looking for your services. So you're trying to get in front of that audience, LSA ads, things like that. Branding is a long term marketing strategy. This takes years, and it could take years and years and years. That long-term brand equity that you're building can be measured by how many people call you if you turned off everything else.
Mm, that's powerful. That's a very, very good point.
And so that's the baseline, right? If there are companies in your market and you may be one of those companies where it's like, man, if we turn everything off, we're still doing 3, 4, 5, 8 million a year, depending on where, that brand equity that you've built in the marketplace.
Yeah.
It it's amazing. Companies that are 40 years old, they just get phone calls. And that's because the person that they work with had a good experience. They have a great feeling about that company and about that brand. So that's who they call when they need it. That's who they refer when they're having a conversation with someone who needs that service.
Yeah. Do you see folks that approach branding? This kind of piggybacks off the first point you made on spending all this money on a website. What kind of mistakes do you see on the content front? People that want to make videos or maybe drone videos that they confuse as branding, but they're really wasting a bunch of money.
The branding aspect of content creation should be done in speaking to your audience, right? So
Mhm.
first you have to know who you're speaking to. So in marketing, it's the who, what, and how. So who is who you are speaking to? We call those avatars or personas, and we say, man, we're speaking with we we know our perfect customer, and our customer has these problems and they want these problems solved. And so we're speaking to those problems in their words and that's the what. It's the message that we're getting to them. And then the how is just whatever channel we're putting that in. So it could be through a blog post, it could be through a social media post, through YouTube, through a mailer, through anything. The how is just how you're getting that message in front of them. So it's all about the words that you're using to connect with that person.
Yeah. Well said. I brought it up because I've had quite a few people with pride, and I listen. I love people. I want them to succeed, and sometimes you got to give tough feedback. And I'll never forget. I had this happened quite a few times where people will send a video to me, be like, "Oh man, this is great. We worked on this for months. Check it out." And then it's like just a bunch of sterile drone videos of an
Yeah.
install in like a 35-second intro of their graphic. And then it's like slowly fades in. It's like, look at our company, look at our company, look at our company, look at our company. Here's this emotionless drone image. Look at our roof. Look at our crew working. And I'm like, do you really think this is entertaining enough for a homeowner to get through 30 seconds of look at me? Here's a roof. And it's hard to be like, listen, I know that again, you get folks that get confused by what quote unquote looks good to a designer versus what will connect emotionally. And just wanted to emphasize how important the point you made of creating that emotional connection, that when you create videos and think it's branding, it really, like, branding is just connecting with people in an authentic way over and over and over again. So they associate your brand with helpful, friendly, valuable, trustworthy, honest, quality. And that isn't done through sterile flash graphics. You know, when people make a YouTube video, it's like the first 7 seconds are like music in their video in their logo coming up. And I even highlight this in the videos that sell course I built for RSRA. Like, top mistake, one of the top mistakes: don't put your graphic up front. So, any advice for folks that want to make like content from a branding perspective in what not to do?
Yeah. So the what not to do is what you said. It's the sterile footage, the drone flying around, the logo flying up, the little music in the background. It doesn't mean anything. It doesn't feel anything. So over that video, take out your phone, do a voice recording, or take out a microphone and record it into the computer when you're editing it, and tell the story of that homeowner.
Yeah.
This is the Jones family house in Plymouth, Minnesota. There was a storm that came through recently, and Shirley walked outside Sunday morning and saw a couple of shingles in her front yard. She was concerned, so she started searching for a company to call that can come out and help her with this problem. She found us. Our company has a 500 5-star reviews on Google. And so she chose to give us a call. But not only do we have 500 5-star reviews, we answered her call on Sunday afternoon.
Mhm.
And we set an appointment to have one of our specialists out there on Monday to make sure that the Jones family was taken care of.
Yeah.
XYZ onto the project, right? So the story of is what your brain gets built on.
Yeah. Just beautiful. Jim, and what would be your best single piece of advice that you would give someone who maybe didn't really emphasize their brand, but they've been in business for a little bit, or maybe they're just getting started and they said, you know what, this is the year, 2026 is the year for me to spend time, energy, and money on branding, but I want to make sure I don't make the mistakes that other people have made. What is the single best piece of advice you could give them to be as effective as possible with branding in 2026?
So the first thing is to learn who your perfect customer is. So as soon as you determine who that perfect customer is, name them, right? And speak to that person on a daily basis. So all of the stories you're telling about the jobs that you're doing, the projects, the people that you're helping, the homeowners that you're helping, everything that you're doing is with that person in mind. And just that intentionality will change the brand messaging in your company tremendously. When you look at that social media post, when you look at your sales script, when you look at how your phone is answered, all of that does this serve this avatar, this persona, this person that we've named? Is this the experience that they want? Is this an experience that they feel will be exceptional? And if you just have that intentionality, it doesn't matter what colors your logo are, if you're XYZ roofing company or if you're Planet Roof or, Apple Roof or whatever it is, like the name, it's the feeling that you're conveying to people through the stories that you're telling that are what that buyer wants. They want to trust their contractor with certain aspects of the job. They want them to be clean, professional. And if you can express that's your brand.
Jim, thank you so much for being here. And if you want to learn how RSRA member Taylor Spears has a unique approach to branding that empowers him to dominate his market with just 3% ad spend, jump into this very next video.